Sandy O'Connor, and this is Artist Showcase. We're going to have a lot of fun today because we're going to get the inside look how Tales from the Woods is actually produced. We're doing our film shoot today, and I'm sort of personally excited. It's my first time being in this program, in this show, which is definitely a soap opera, and there's a lot more exciting segments to come. But there's a lot happening, and the boxes will actually play a rather interesting part in this show, along with Teddy the dog, who's always got his lines perfect, and all the other characters. And I'm actually a new character introduced today. And there will be more new characters introduced in episode 8, because we're now filming episode 7. And you won't be seeing it until right about the time you're seeing it now, which is in October. So we hope you have fun. We hope you enjoy seeing the real behind the scenes. So you can hear there's a lot of conversation going on, and that's part of the excitement of getting ready to film. But almost all the actors are here now, and some of them are reviewing their lines. Cheryl, who's the director, is reviewing the sound effects, and the others are just chatting it up and getting ready to do this. So we're probably going to start very shortly as soon as our cameraman arrives. And then we will go, and we will not be filming in order. So that's always an interesting part of TV work. You don't always film in order. In fact, you rarely do. So that'll be another interesting part of today. Here, Teddy, you want this treat? Take it slow. Take it nice. See, you're very nice. See, Teddy has a very important part. He has to bark every time the doorbell rings. And he's been doing his perfect on-cue performance. So we're very proud of him. Cheryl, could you ring the bell so we can test this?
Wait, do it again.
No, now he thinks I'm going to get him a snack.
There you go.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Karen.
I need to say, to protect my cousin's property, the advertisements is just too cheesy.
So my part is Bobby, and I am one of the daughters of Eunice. And Sharon is my sister Morgana, and I have always been the good sister. And Sharon's always been more adventurous and really gotten out in the world and done some exciting things. But I've had a little challenge in my life, which I think you should wait to see what that is. And then I'm going to sort of decide that it's time for me to break out of my conservative shell. So it's very exciting to be a part of this, and we do quite a bit of rehearsing. You would be amazed. We rehearse every Monday for, a month and a half at least, and then we finally film it. So it is fun, and we do have a lot of camaraderie as we rehearse each week, and we do spend time talking to each other about everyday things, and then we get into our scripts and we start blocking where we're going to be and how we're going to execute the scene. And so it's really a lot of fun, and we do have a lot of good laughs over it as well.
Celebration of life, not a funeral.
The show is starting to make an impact. Many of the actors have told me that, people come up to them on the street and say, oh my gosh, I love this. I can't wait till the next episode. When is it going to air? And so we are getting some excitement because people, let's face it, soap operas have done well forever. And we have a magnificent writer, Terry Louise Fisher, who many of you may know by now, wrote for L.A. Law and Cagney and Lacey and won Emmys for her writing. So this is she's enjoying this part of it because she doesn't have the pressure of writing a new script every week, only a new script every month. One of the exciting parts of this is it's our very first location shoot. In the past, all the other episodes were done in the studio. So pretty soon David, who is the cameraman and the editor of the show, will be here, and all of this will be shot inside Cheryl Stritch's home, which is lovely, and there will be a scene done on the patio, and there was another location which was done for the yoga portion of the shoot, and that was done yesterday, and Cheryl said it just went really, really well. So that will be the only other location shoot. And whether we do more than 1 or 2 locations, well, we'll find out how we do it and how we feel about it, and then it may happen more and more.
Tell us what's going on today at your house.
Well, we're shooting the scene that's in the living room. We're using my house as the set. We've moved out of the studio, and we're now going to be doing location shots as much as we can. So we're my house is going to be, my living room is going to be our location for the living room, for Jackie's living room. However, we have shot on location when one of our main stars broke her kneecap and couldn't get out of bed.
That would be me.
We had to shoot at her house. Actually, we shot on her bed because she couldn't get off of it. Not only did she break her kneecap, she also broke her shoulder, her arm,
Fractured, yes.
her opposite arm. So
Fractured.
as we decided to help her out, we weren't going to stop the shoot. So we went to her house
Yes.
On the bed.
and shot on her bed.
Yes, if you look at one of
And
the
I remember
earliest
that was
episodes, we
very
were all
funny.
sitting on her bed eating.
That was
So
very funny.
in the next episode, we have to shoot in her bedroom. So again, we'll be back at her house.
2 cameras and a boom mic.
And a big dog.
And a big
and
dog.
her dog on the bed.
Oh, and we had
it
to
was
get my
pretty
dog
funny.
on the bed. And that was terrible because her
Teddy,
bed
we're
is
talking
high.
about you.
Her
Come
bed is high up,
Come here,
and the dog couldn't get up. They should have videoed the dog getting on the bed. And then once he got on the bed, it was really comfortable, and he wouldn't get off the bed.
He wouldn't get off.
Somebody was asking me yesterday about this and when we watch and how often is it on? I said, well, it's twice a week for a month. Then we change the episode. They said, why can't you do an episode every week?
I know.
I said, you should only know what goes into
Right,
one
our
episode."
writer would be ecstatic because
Yeah.
she's so happy not to have to do that,
Yeah,
and then we would
exactly.
be crazy.
And I'm very thrilled with the actors because they know their lines, they know what to do, and it goes very quickly. We could do it one every week or every 2 weeks based on these actors. The problem is that it's there's too much studio time, and I was going to say something else.
Well, and that much studio time just isn't available.
Yeah.
We're lucky to
just don't
squeeze in when we
And
can.
editing, you
Yeah.
know.
Right,
Is
it's
there
a big job to
anybody
edit.
else who could edit that we could do it
One.
more often?
They don't have
They
enough
won't let you.
people at Channel 6. I mean, they have a limited staff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're
How
short
did this
staffed.
whole idea begin?
Well, it was funny. It started at 2 different polls. Terry, the writer, who is my cousin, said, I would love to write, a soap opera about Laguna Woods, but I don't want to go through the trouble of getting in contact with this TV station and doing all that. I don't know how to do it, and I'm not a producer. I'm just a writer. I'm not a director. I'm just a writer. If I could just write it and somebody else would take care of the rest, I would love to do it. Maybe 3 months later, Cheryl was saying, Old Pros really wants to develop something to do for Channel 6. And I don't know what. Ha! Terry! Cheryl, talk!
And I actually had met Terry. She had actually come over for Rosh Hashanah, and she met my dog. So that
And
was
she wanted Teddy to be
she
the star.
wanted the dog to be in the show. So so there you go.
All of his presence, yes.
Right. And actually, for me, it's less stressful shooting at my house because it was such a pain in the neck bringing the dog to the studio.
Oh.
So
And the props.
and the
All
props.
the props.
And the
We have
props.
them all
Lots of
here.
props.
And the food.
And the food.
Yeah.
And the
And
food.
the
We always
wine.
have food.
And
And
the
the
wine.
Yeah.
Wine
Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah.
And
Let's not forget the wine.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you sort of picked your actors to begin with, didn't you? And then you had auditions?
No,
or-
we had auditions.
You did have
We
auditions
had
both
auditions.
times. Right, because then you had, I went to the second set of auditions, I think. is
Right.
where-
We went to audition. We had auditions here the first time. Karen actually came with her grandchildren because she was babysitting.
But whatever it takes, That's part of the reason we can't do it every week because we all have other things going on.
So
that-
much.
Right.
So much.
Right.
Oh, and here come
Here
our
they come.
cameramen,
Yay!
and there's
Oh,
2
he's
of them.
David. Yeah. Oh, he's bringing the other kid.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
Oh,
usually
good.
does.
So we have
Good,
two.
good.
We have 2 people and 2 cameras.
Yeah.
Plus I think he's using the boom. He said he should have used the boom yesterday. Oh, Scott, you missed the yoga scene yesterday. It was fabulous. These 2 were great, and the actors. were-
Lots of running in the sun.
The extras.
Which is something you just love to do.
Yeah.
Come on in. The extras were fabulous. They were.
Right on cue. Thank you, Eddie.
Hi, poor Teddy.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
Are we live?
Yes, live.
Live.
How's everybody doing?
We're good. We're good.
Oh, it's nice to hear.
Oh yeah, see, this is a good shoot here.
It's perfect.
Cheryl, who is our director, and I think we mentioned that, but she's working with David and PJ, who are going to film and actually edit this show, and she's just letting them know how the setup is and where people will be, and so that they can get the camera set up, because normally they would have done a rehearsal in the studio before, but so this is a little different. and we're not worried about it because we know we'll make it work. But she's wanting to give them, she wants to give them this kind of instruction so they feel that they know where they want to place the cameras. We all want to know what your role is today, because you are the director, and what do you see as your role to make this all work today?
Well, I'm going to be prompting. I'm going to have my script available, and I'm going to be prompting in case people have forgotten their lines. I'm going to be working with David, the producer, and PJ, the assistant producer, just to make sure that we set up the camera angles correctly, and that the shots are going to go as planned. I think we need to stop and let David in. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, there he goes. He's setting it all up.
Setting it up, and PJ needs to come in too.
There you go.
They're from Channel 6 and doing a great job. And so, and I got the props together.
Which are
absolutely right
lovely.
here. We
Yes.
talked about the cost, what everybody was going to wear. We had to, make sure that was going to run smoothly. And I just had to get the set together, basically. I'm doing everything, scheduling and just making sure everybody can come when we're supposed to have the shoot and the rehearsals.
And trying to remember, because I've been through this the first time, how many weeks do we actually rehearse before we film?
Well, we rehearse on Mondays. The rehearsals are about an hour and a half, but we rehearse every Monday for about 4 or 5 weeks. So it's like 5 rehearsals prior to the shoot. Yeah, and today we're going to do a dry run through before each shot, because that way the cameraman can see what we're doing and we can agree on shots. Before when we were doing in the studio, we'd have a studio rehearsal so he could see what was going on. But because we're doing it on location, we're doing it this way.
And it really goes pretty fast, doesn't it? I mean, I haven't been here yet, but this is my first time.
Right.
But doesn't it go fairly fast? I mean, considering.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, each scene is pretty quick, so it goes pretty quickly. I mean, it'll happen a lot quicker than you would expect. We're scheduled to be here from 10 to 2, but it's not going to take that long. I think we'll be done by 12:30. It's just a matter of setting up, making sure the shots are right, the sound is right, and that the actors remember their lines, because if they don't, we have to repeat.
Are you guys having fun filming the show?
We always have a great time. Every episode's a little bit different, and it's fun for me because I obviously don't live in the community, but I've gotten to meet a lot of really cool people and make some friends, and we always have a good time. And this is a little bit different because we've been shooting a lot of stuff in the studio, and from this point forward we're going to be doing more on location, 2 camera shoots, kind of in my head shooting it sort of like The Office if we can. So the show's evolving and the actors are evolving, our production style's evolving, and it's fun.
How long did it take you to edit this show?
With the green screen stuff that we were shooting, it would take about a month. That's another reason doing it on location will save some time. Instead of having to change every background for every single shot, it'll be a little more concise. So we'll kind of see what happens moving forward, but hopefully 2 to 3 weeks we can get these out and done and ready, and kind of have a template for the next episode moving forward.
Are you getting any feedback from the community at all about the show?
Only secondhand, because I'm not really out in the community. I'm kind of in my cage, but the response has been great. I think some of the stuff was a little racy and people weren't expecting it, but they liked it because of that. So I think we're kind of pushing the envelope a little bit, and it's funny to read the script whenever Cheryl comes by and drops it off and see what we're going to be getting into, because it's always a little like, whoa, okay, we're doing that,
Where do you want the wide? Yeah, it's good. It's just a lot. Too much action. Yeah. Sure, take out.
So, what were you just doing there?
Well, I'm supposed to be drinking a glass of wine because I'm being accused of drunk ordering on Amazon. And I say, I was not drunk, and then I take a drink of wine. So I wanted the prop to show, at least. If it's going to be in the script, we got to show it.
So what's it like having Terry Louise Fisher put words in your mouth?
I think she's a good writer. I like her words. Sometimes you're tempted to change the wording so it fits your personality. But I'm really comfortable with what she writes, so it works for me.
And what's your opinion of how the show is evolving?
I'm loving it. In fact, all my friends that watched the show were in the shoot yesterday that was a yoga class, and they were all in the yoga class. And now they're very interested because they heard the dialogue in person, and now it's being very personal for them.
So what's it like having Terry Louise Fisher put words in your mouth?
I really like it because sometimes you're tempted to change the wording so it fits your personality, but in this case, I'm very comfortable with her words, and it's working well.
And then, are you getting comments as you wander around the village? People see you?
All the time. People come up to me and say, "What about that girl? And who's the whore?"
Did they really say that?
Yes. Who is that whore from Gate 4? It's very funny. They get very involved. My neighbors are all involved, and my friends are because they were at the shoot yesterday doing a yoga class, and now they're like, "Oh, we can't wait to see this one." So, what's going to happen to Marshall?
Do you feel pressure when you're outside, like how TV stars have to be, where you have to be all made up and looking good because people know you, or is it you can just be yourself still?
I do.
Oh, that's good.
Heck no, I'm an actress. That's what I do.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun are you having?
Oh, this is 10. Very
Really?
definite.
It's a 10.
It is a 10. Yeah.
And your cast members seem so friendly. There's not a lot of ego and drama,
No,
right?
we've all done things before together, so we're all friends. It works out well.
And where would you like to take your part? Do you have any thoughts about where you'd like to see your part go?
Well, I keep pushing for a new love interest because my husband hasn't been in this thing for quite a while, and he is going to jail eventually, so that would be fun.
Don't have to do too much lighting because we got that skylight up there.
Yeah, a little extra will help though, you know.
Probably take you longer to set up than it's going to take to actually do the scene, right?
That's usually the case. You know, it's like what's that saying? Hurry up and wait. You know.
And Eunice says, did you tell her about your hellish experience with the FBI?
Don't scare her.
Don't worry.
Elaine and her AFib again.
It's I'm going to see what's going on.
Okay, here it is. That's on page
Okay, let's try her.
11.
FBI?
Yeah.
What did she
Does she have
Do
money?
you know where Marshall is?
Shouldn't have
My
talked to
line.
her.
You told me I'd be all right if I didn't spend the money.
Should be fine. Eunice says, did you tell her about your hellish experience with the FBI?
Oh, is that my line? Okay.
Don't
Did
worry,
you?
I'm not going to let them abuse you. Then Cheryl will make us sound like that, and we'll all go.
I'm not
"It sounds
making a
like-"
sound. I'll
Not
go.
a sound.
Just like that.
Doing a finger.
It sounds.
Gonna give you the finger.
It sounds like it's across the street at Jane's house.
But she's on her honeymoon. Oh, I hope it's not Elaine and her AFib again.
I better go see what's going on.
I don't have my script in front of me. What
You
are
say
we?
what's going on?
What's going on? Okay.
Jackie says.
I hope it's not Elaine. Or is it Elaine?
Isn't it?
Is it Elaine?
It's Jane.
What
Jane?
happened?
They're carrying her out on a gurney. She's unconscious.
Oh my God. Please let Jane be okay. That drama enough, girls?
Yeah, I think it's.
Well, this is sort of fun. We are running our lines. We're trying to make sure we're right on, but then we're also having some laughs over it. So I guess it's a thing about being prepared, but also
Director, you're wanted.
keeping it loose. Because if we don't do that, I don't think we'll do as well when we do the shoot. So typically, if we can do both things, run the lines, make sure we're right on, and then also have some laughs over it. So that's what we're doing right now.
Check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Way better.
All right.
Yeah, just like the sound of the voice.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Can we also turn these lights on?
Yeah, sure. All of them?
Come on, Teddy. Come on, Ted.
You're not in yet.
You don't want me in yet? I thought you were just.
We're gonna go through the scene.
Oh, okay.
Are you coming in, Sharon, are you coming in from this side?
Yeah.
Why don't you start off looking in a box and holding the wine glass? Okay, let me get out of here. No, you don't have to make.
Ready, Teddy? Are you ready, Teddy?
Just so if there's a
Okay,
tiny
alright.
bit of movement. Okay.
Okay, you can make a little noise.
A
but then-
little, thank you.
And when she comes in, she's gonna push those boxes away, and then there's no more noise from boxes. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay, the one on the floor I'm gonna push away, because so I can sit.
Is that there to trip you?
Should I move that one?
I can pick it up when I come in.
Well, you need to push these out of the way.
Okay, yeah, okay, because otherwise I was gonna have to put my legs out straight over them.
Can you give me a mic?
Would not be a good look.
Checking?
And then you won't be able to get up.
That's right.
Sorry.
Much better than yesterday.
You don't have to bring him. This is just the dry run, so you don't have to bring him in.
Oh, okay. Well, I will.
Well,
Anyway.
you can anyway.
So they can see on camera. And do you want me to say the line as I'm entering, or do you want me to wait until I sit?
Why don't you wait till you sit?
Okay.
I think because you're not going to be talking.
Okay.
Yeah, because then you can push him away, and
Okay.
as you push him away, say it.
Yeah.
Cards.
So Karen, push them back a little bit more towards the shaves part. Push them a little. No, the ones next to you.
As far as I can tell, what's happening over there is they're just really trying to set the scene up properly. And so they're discussing the scene, what's going to be happening, and then making sure they've got the cameras where they want them. And so that when you see this in the end, it should be completely seamless, and it will be. But this is what's interesting about TV work, because it does go this way. And if you're doing a play, you just have to keep going. You go from one thing to the next, first act to the second act. This one, you could be doing your scenes completely out of sequence, and of course it seems disjointed at the filming time, but when it's done, it's all perfect.
It was a one-day special.
Look, I know you're under a lot of stress.
Oh, really, you think? Just because I can't get a hold of Marshall? And even the whore seems to have disappeared.
Like I was saying, I know you're under a lot of stress, but shopping is just the same kind of addiction as any other addiction. It helps relieve the stress that just temporarily.
Spare me your amateur psychology.
If Lauren's right.
If Lauren's right, Marshall could.
Marshall's investor is in the
I'm
big.
sorry.
It's okay. We're not
If-
shooting.
Thank God. If Lauren is right, Marshall's investor is involved in the fake prescription business, and that could mean a lot of trouble for Marshall, like federal prison trouble.
And I'll be flat broke and alone. Thanks for reminding me. Shouldn't your mother and Jerry be here any minute?
Oh, like you said, thanks for reminding me.
I know you have your problems with her.
I know you have your problems with her, but you have to understand, Eunice just wants you to be happy.
By marrying me off to someone in whom I have absolutely no romantic interest.
You don't know that. You haven't seen him for years. I mean,
At your age.
at your age, wouldn't a nice solid provider be more important than sexy fireworks?
Oh, it sounds very exciting. Sign me up.
Your mother used to tell your sister and me, don't go for the flashy guys. Get a nice middle-of-the-road guy. One not too good-looking, well-off but not too rich. That way nobody else will want him, and you don't have to worry about him fooling around.
And how did that work out for you and Marshall?
I'm going to yoga. I have to chill out.
Okay, sit down. Okay.
Now they have rehearsed this, and we did this because normally we would have done it in the studio, but now we're rehearsing a little bit. Oh, and now we have to be quiet because they're going to shoot.
Yeah. So let me, after I slate, I'll come back and I'll tell you, and then you can say action.
Action.
More? Really? There. These are essentials for my cooking.
Stop.
Okay.
Action.
More? Really? Don't you have to get dressed?
You've got to stop getting drunk and shopping, Jackie. You can't afford this.
These are all essentials for my cooking. And I was not drunk.
White Italian truffles? $249?
For my risotto. And that's a really good price. It was a one-day special.
Look,
Sorry.
And the whore has disappeared.
well, like I was saying, I know that would cause a lot of problems for Marshall. I mean, federal prison problems. Like you said, thanks for reminding me.
Look, I know you have your problems with her, but you have to understand, Eunice only wants you to be happy.
I thought I'd still have this
Perfect
one
all the way through.
before I met them.
Yeah.
Oh, there's meditation after that.
Nice job. And Teddy was great.
Teddy was wonderful. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
He looked,
No.
as you guys were
Oh, I was
talking,
gonna
he
wear-
yawned, like he
I was
let out
gonna
like
wear
a
this
big
for
yawn.
meditate milk, so I'll go change over my hair up. That'll
Okay. So I can get it.
And you can get rid of the boxes.
The boxes.
Okay, we're still here.
You're still here.
The first time it was a good rehearsal, and then the second time we did it really well. I think so. We'll see when it airs.
I know. I mean, I have to have it so that I know what we're doing, so we don't miss one.
We need to remove the boxes now?
Yeah. So we did scene one. Scene three is where she's just.
How'd that scene go?
It went very well, actually.
But you went to yoga.
Yeah. I need to chill out. Sometimes when you do a scene over and over, you get tripped up. You forgot what you've already said, and you think you've
So you can have.
done it already, so it gets a little trickier with that way. But we did it.
Looks like you're having fun.
Well, I am having fun. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't fun.
Yeah, because we're not getting paid.
Yeah, we're getting paid so much.
Do a lot of things if you get paid.
Suffer through it, but this way we don't have to suffer. We just have a good time.
That's right.
Work at it and then have a good
Gotta
time.
have a big party when it's all over.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You just
Let's see if I can put my feet together. I'm not sure if I can. I used to be. Yes.
Okay.
Because I can't cross my legs. It's not something I'm capable of.
And you put your hand. Well. And that's all you have to do. That's all. You just need it.
And I sit down, I hear the doorbell, and at least look.
Yeah. Yeah. Dog was. He just stood there.
He just goes with his
He
pot.
must be getting really used to this.
No, she has a treat in her hand. And when he had to sit there, he was drooling because he was waiting for the treat.
And he's real good about that. I know when I gave it to him, you know, he doesn't. You must have
He
taught him
doesn't
that.
grab.
He doesn't
He
grab
doesn't
it.
grab.
Yeah, he's very polite.
He's very
He
polite.
waits for you to say okay most of the time.
Yeah,
That's what
and
I was
actually we have him so he has to sit before he gets a treat.
Ah,
But
so he's getting a little.
but he's getting
Leeway this
he's getting a little leeway. Okay.
He enjoys the attention too.
Yeah, I remember Alan.
15 rounds.
Okay.
He's got a great voice.
This is
Boy, has he got a voice.
Act 2.
Does blues.
We're going to be doing. Get ready because we're going to do Act 2, Scene 1. But first, as long as Sharon is changing, we're going to have her that one scene where she's holding her ball, meditating. Then you're all going to come in and we're going to do Act 2. So you probably won't be wearing your hat at that point.
I will. I'm not going to take it off.
You're not going to take it off? Oh, okay, all right.
No, because we're going to be out on the patio again.
Okay.
You know, I'll just take my sunglasses off.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
A lot of people wear a hat all the time,
Right, especially.
especially my age.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
English people.
English people. Yeah.
That's true.
I
That's
mean, look
another.
at Carol Shallon. She never takes her hat off.
How'd that scene go for you?
It went very well. It went very well. 3 times is a charm.
Yeah, you can't do it in one take. That's ridiculous.
Well, we're doing a dry one first, and then and actually one of the actors flubbed up, not you. One of the, and we were able to just move on from there because he can edit it out. So that's the beauty of video, right?
It's never done perfectly.
Right. camera's going to be on all three, but I think we need to put a camera on Eunice.
Okay.
And Karen's going to come in.
Okay.
Karen's,
Karen's
So
Karen's
yeah, we'll move the
sit
single
down.
to the
Yeah.
side.
Coming on QB sale.
Oh,
I just,
You've been drunk shopping again.
I've got enough clothes to last me for 10 years if I never buy another thing.
Be excited to be on camera today.
Be on camera today?
Yeah.
Sure, I love this project.
Actually, Mary,
What's
I
the
don't
best
think
part?
you're not in this scene.
The best part is being with all my friends and having a girl type of camaraderie, of the feeling of having a girl group, you know, to confront the obstacles that we come across here in Laguna Woods.
So, how are my niece and nephew?
Oh, well, Jason is doing very well. He just got a promotion to assistant vice president, and Amanda's going to go back to school since the kids are older.
Okay, and how's Marty?
They're having some trouble. Yeah. Oh, but what married couple doesn't? I mean, you just roll up your sleeves and get on with it.
Eunice! Bobby! Hi!
So good to
You didn't even get them anything to drink?
Oh, water all around?
No, make some matcha iced tea and, bring those mini streusels in.
I'm gonna see what's keeping Barry.
What? What is it?
Marty.
What, is he sick?
Oh, I should be so lucky.
Well, you know, we can do it twice. We'll do it,
A couple of different angles.
yeah. I think that's just gonna make the most sense. So let's do it all with the way that our cameras were set.
Okay. Okay.
And then we'll do it again from them sitting
Okay.
with the camera over here.
Okay. All right. So
So-
we're doing it twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so after they get up,
Is this okay when I come in? When she stands up to greet me?
Because I had to go under the
They were gonna
yeah,
fly
maybe
when we came by.
maybe don't stand up. Can you greet in a way? Because either way, if you stand up, your head's kind of getting out of frame.
I would think that.
Why
Could
don't
she
you
just
why
come
don't you
over and
hug
hug me?
Why don't you hug?
I can
sitting
hug
down?
Eunice there and then
Yeah.
come over here and sit down and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it
hug
then.
about
That
it.
would be
Yeah.
better.
And then when they get up and walk out, just pause for a second so PJ can move his camera here. I'm rolling. Let me actually. Can you just clap for me? Yes. Okay.
Action.
So, how are my niece and nephew?
Well, Jason's really doing well. He just got promoted to assistant vice president, and Amanda's going back to school now that the kids are older.
Okay. And how's Marty?
Oh, they're having some marital problems. But then what married couple doesn't? I mean, you just gotta roll up your sleeves and get on with it.
Eunice! Bobby! Hi,
Good to see you.
You didn't get them anything to drink?
Water all around?
No, make some matcha iced tea. I would bring those mini streusels.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm gonna see what's happening with Barry.
Come on, Teddy. Come on, Teddy.
What? What is it?
Marty.
What, is he sick?
Oh, I should be so lucky. But for $50, what's your next guess? Ding, ding, ding. You're right. The son of a bitch is having an affair.
Oh, God. Who is she?
His 34-year-old, fake boobed, blonde hair extensioned, duck-lipped assistant.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
My mother.
That's what I thought. I'm
My
sorry.
thank you.
Keep going.
My
Keep going.
My mother she told us, marry a man who knows that I'm out of his league and that I'm never going to have to worry.
Jackie, did you really make this wonderful cake? My goodness, it's so professional. professional.
Well, yeah, I'm testing out recipes actually. I'm hoping to sell them to local restaurants.
Oh, gone through a rough patch. I am sorry.
Oh, thanks.
I've been thinking.
I've been thinking, you know how property values have increased up in Culver City? Well, I thought maybe I should put my house on the market and buy something here.
What? Oh, that's a fantastic idea.
And while I'm looking around, I could stay here. After all, you do have 3 bedrooms. And I could help you with the mortgage.
That would be great.
You just put all of that money into upgrading your kitchen, and what about all your friends? This is craziness.
The kitchen, I'll get my money out of the remodel. And my friends are all so old and boring. They haven't had an original thought in 20 years.
That must be Barry.
We've gone right off
You
the
went
script.
right off.
Yeah, that stuff we do outside.
Yes.
Yeah?
Look at me. So I went get going.
You guys talk a little bit longer too.
So what's your role today?
I'm helping Dave produce Tales from the Woods. I'm running the second camera that gets mostly of the close-ups and tight shots.
And how important is that second camera?
I mean, it's really important because, I mean, you have to have those he's on the wide. I mean, you can't just have one shot, you know. You really want to have a dynamic show. You really want a 2-3 shot, especially on a TV show, you know. All the iconic shows like The Office and Modern Family and all them all are, you know, 2-3 shot in most of their scenes.
We'll actually start it like we were going to do right when they exit.
Right.
Yes.
And then you can get your scenes.
Sally in the long show.
Or even a 2-shot.
Will I be in the way over here?
I don't think so.
All right.
We're going to have to move this.
What? What is it? Marty. What? Is he sick? I should be so lucky. But for $50, what's your next guess? Ding, ding, ding. You're right. The son of a bitch is having an affair. Oh my God, who is she? Huh. His fake boo, 34-year-old, blonde extensioned, duck-lipped assistant. How original. What are you gonna do? My mother promised me. She promised us. Marry a man that I know is out of my league, and then I'm never gonna have to worry.
Jackie, did you really make this lovely cake? It's so professional.
Thanks. I've been testing recipes actually, hoping to sell them to local restaurants.
And move it there.
What? That's a great idea.
Yeah, and I could come and stay with you. You do have 3 bedrooms, don't you? And I could help you out with the mortgage.
Here you go.
Well, that must be Barry.
Oh, I'll go get it.
Cut. That was good until the end.
I have a major role. I have 6 whole lines in this play. And I'm the FBI agent.
You look like an FBI agent.
I better look like an FBI agent.
Are you gonna have fun?
I'm gonna have a ball.
Read a line. What's one of the lines you're gonna read? Be going over today.
Are you Jacqueline Graydon? We're trying to contact your husband.
Oh, you look serious.
Oh, we're serious.
Kind of scary too.
Yes.
Did you practice in front of the mirror?
Wait till you see the next episode. Because in the next episode, I'm going to have 6 assistants, all with black jackets and sunglasses.
How'd your scene go?
Well, it went pretty well. We were a little rough here and there, but we fixed it, you know, because we can do it over. So we did have to do it a couple of times, but it ended up being fine, just fine.
Were you nervous?
A little tiny bit, you know, because I don't get that nervous, but this is the first time. And then there's this one line that I always have a challenge with, and we even changed it to make it easier.
What was the line?
The line is, marry a man who knows that I am out of his league and I'll never have to worry. Well, I was making it sound like he was out of my league. So we finally got that straightened around, and then it's fine. And we took enough takes so that we're good. And then someone else forgot to go to the door when the doorbell rang, and there's all this funny stuff because, as we've all said, because we've been in other shows, it's these one-liners that trip us up, you know, where we're not getting a direct cue or something, and then that's usually what trips us up. But luckily, a couple of takes and it worked.
Just tell me what's kind of happened this scene.
Trying to, on my end, trying to figure out the best shot selection, make sure we get everybody in there, make sure it looks good, make sure Cheryl's happy. That's the most important
My
thing.
happiness is very important.
That's the grease that keeps this machine running. So
If I'm not happy, nobody's happy.
that's right. So far, so good. So
David DeSantis is the best. He's a wonderful person to work with.
I'm gonna put that on my website.
Because he's so calm, right?
Yeah, I tell this to my children who are his age. He's the son I wish I could have had.
Ooh.
No. My children are very good too, but David's much easier to work with.
I do what I can.
Back to tell us.
I changed before that.
Oh,
Before
you do?
I go out
Oh, okay.
outside,
Okay.
yeah.
She had come back from yoga earlier, and then she got dressed for Barry to come.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm all out of discombobulation.
When she came in before, she had just come back from yoga.
Yes.
Oh wait, you need a business card, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Elaine, sitting down and handing Mary the card.
Who wants a business card?
Me.
Should get it back to you, but we.
I got plenty.
Oh,
DPM.
oh, is that my business card?
Here, sit down again, really quick.
You ladies having fun?
We are.
Absolutely.
Oh, sure.
It looks like fun.
It is.
Yeah, let's
yes.
go through the lines. Let's go through it.
Oh, good. I have none in this scene.
Okay, you're
So
good.
don't mess up.
So I can't mess up.
Face towards the camera a little bit more.
Just talk your lines through it. Karen, you start.
FBI, what does she want?
Lauren, you start.
Do you know where Marshall is?
Well, you shouldn't have talked to her without me. Next time.
You think she'll come back?
Well, if she does, make sure you don't say anything until I get here.
You told me I'd be okay if I didn't spend the money.
Well, you should be fine.
Did you ever tell them about your episode with the FBI?
It is not my line, right?
No.
It's not my line.
You
Don't-
say
don't
it's a
look at me.
hellish.
Don't worry.
Your hellish experience with the FBI, sorry. They tried to.
Wait. You don't have a line. It's Lauren.
You can always.
Okay.
Are you?
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go like
Oh,
that.
that sounds like it's across the street near Jane's.
Well, she's on her honeymoon. I wonder if it's Elaine in her AFib again.
I'm gonna go see what's going on.
What's your character all about?
My character, Lauren, is very bitter about her marriage and divorce.
This is where Mary comes in.
Okay, can't talk. Whoops. Now?
This is where Mary comes in when she says, "Oh, I rest my case, a public defender." You come rushing in.
And I say what?
You don't say anything. You just come rushing in, and she says, "What's going on?"
Where do you want me to rush to?
Just come in from.
In the beginning.
No, this is in the middle of the scene.
It's the middle of the scene.
Okay. So she gets up and she comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just come back from where you left, and then you come.
From he tried to kill her.
The best. Okay. You say what is it?
Say what is it?
What is it?
The bastard tried to kill her.
Is that what they told you?
No, but do the math. She changes her will, and then 3 days later. Come on, let's all go and see her. They're taking her to Saddleback. I guess I would be freaked out. I mean, maybe it looks okay that way.
Except that you cut Karen off because.
Come on, let's go. They're taking her to Saddleback.
Okay, Sharon.
Okay. Well, what is it?
Is
No.
it Elaine?
No, we better start again. What's the order?
Okay, what's going on? Is it Elaine? It's Jane.
What's going on?
Is it Elaine?
No, it's Jane.
Jane?
Yes, they're carrying her out on a gurney and she's unconscious.
What is it?
The bastard tried to kill her.
Is that what they told you?
No, but do the math. I mean, she changes her will, and then 3 days later, this? Come on, let's all go. They're taking her to Saddleback.
God, I hope Jane's okay.
Cut. That was perfect.
It was.
Yes, wasn't it?
That's lovely. That's all
5 or
we
6
need.
or 10 times
that we did it. All right, we're done in the living
We just finished the inside scenes, and so now we're going to do the outside scenes, and there's 3 different scenes at the door. So first of all, the FBI, and then my arrival with my mother, Eunice, and we'll be doing that. And then Mary also has a scene at the door. So there'll be 3 of those, and then we'll be finishing up with the patio scene, which is part of it. And again, it's all out of order. So what you're seeing now in this inside edition, so to speak, is the process. And of course, it's not all in order.
And how's it going?
See, that's a problem when you're used to doing theatre. Everything goes in order
Yes.
on the stage. When we get to this and we're all out of order, we're all discombobulated. We forget our lines and what scene is this, and it's very, very different, you know.
So different. In fact, I've heard people say they can't do TV, you know, which is interesting. But anyways, they feel they can't. It's just too intimidating for some reason. And so, you know, it's not their thing. And then it's also people who feel that is the thing they want to do. So in any case, all of us have done both. And so it's helpful that we all know the different experience.
Well, also with the theatre, you have a lot of rehearsal,
Yes.
don't you?
You have a
your
lot,
lines and
a lot more
your
rehearsal.
blocking and that. With
Typical
this,
play,
you
it's
don't.
2 months, isn't it? At least 2 months, maybe
about
2 and a half.
months to get it up and running. Yeah. Whereas this, we do it in less than a month.
I know. So that's the other part of this. That's interesting. Yeah.
So we're almost done, right? How's it going?
We're almost done for today. I think so far so good.
Yeah.
You know, we got a good rhythm. You know, I think a lot of people don't realize, like, a lot of times you're shooting things out of order, and so we did scenes in here that are going to be jumbled, and then we do all the things outside in the front, and then we do all the things in the back. But he's keeping me in line. I'm keeping him in line. And
Yep.
it's all coming together.
Yeah. After this, we just get into the office and start putting it in post.
Yep.
How did it go with the FBI agent?
Oh, we're not allowed to talk about it.
Top secret stuff, right?
Yeah, super top secret.
I wish I could, Scott. I wish I could, but
We're getting close to finishing the shoot, but we still have some more scenes to do. But we're going to wrap because we have plenty of footage for you to enjoy, and we hope you will. We hope you like the fact that you got to see the real inside of how this gets put together. And so we hope that for you, and we hope that you'll be watching all of the segments of Tales from the Woods.